Welcome, everybody, to the Bush and Me Show. Week 6, baby's already here. Can you believe it? Week 5, I was 2-1. You lost your lock last week. 3-2 on locks. We both lost Washington. I delayed my one pick until Sunday morning and released the Arizona Cardinals, who covered the spread. So I'm now 5-0 on locks, big dog.
Why did Washington lose, me?
The quarterback. It's the quarterback.
It's the quarterback. That's all I have to say.
Washington seems to keep losing. Frustrating me. I keep giving them out on Me's money moves. I keep taking them here. The past, 4 weeks, I'm 10-2 on this show. 10-2. That's a great record. My only 2 losses are the Washington Commanders.
Man, that's what you get for putting your faith into them, man. You knew they were going to let you down.
I know. Well, the good thing is on this show, I can't take them because they played Thursday night.
Against the Bears. They're going to lose that one, too.
Yeah. Well, we filmed this on Wednesday night, so by the time this airs, you already know whether or not they won or lost. Before we jump into picks, I got some more trends for you going into week 6. Last week, we talked about road dogs were 21-15 against the spread. That is the road team being the underdog, winning 21 out of 36 times. NFL dogs in general last week were 9-5. So all the underdogs won 9 games and lost 5 last week. On the season, they're 45-30-3. So they're winning at a 60% rate. That is the best win rate for underdogs since 2010, when they were 62.2%. There's a lot of parity in the league right now. The underdogs are hanging in there and covering and winning outright in a lot of these matchups. Some great games. Over at Me's Money Moves, just to show how well we're doing over there, 32-11, 74%. So we're doing better than the underdogs.
Yeah.
Come check us out. Again, over there with Washington. We've taken Washington twice this year. I took the Panthers 3 times. I went back and looked at the stats. They fit into my system 3 times, and we lost every time. So if you strip out those 5 losses right there, we're 32-6, 84%.
Well, unfortunately, the world does not work like that.
But we can't just strip them out. But we're doing really well over there. 32-11, 74%. Speaking of doing really well, why don't we jump into – I'll go first. So my I got it. I'm going to take the lead. It's like golf. You know, if you win the last hole, you go first. On the tee box.
Gotcha.
So I told you about the underdogs. My motto this week, I'm going with home dogs. So it's going to be that's my home dog. That's my home dog. Who's that over there? That's my home dog.
Man, that's my home dog over there, dog.
That's my home dog. So the first game I'm going with, I don't like this, which makes me like it even more. I've said that before. But the numbers just came up for the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. They're getting 8.5 at home, because that's my home dog, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, if you've watched Pittsburgh play recently, you just say they're bad. They're not competing. They got blown out last week. They lost to the Jets, right? They're 1-4. Well, they beat Cincy week 1. Lost to a good New England team by 3 points. Were competitive against Cleveland on a short week of that Thursday night in Cleveland. Lost to the Jets, lost to the Bills. 2 solid teams this year. They should not be 8.5-point underdogs at home. I mean, there's only one time in the last 40 years the Steelers have been an underdog of 8.5 or more. They were an underdog of 9 points in 1989 to the Minnesota Vikings. And they got so mad that Vegas disrespected them, they won the game outright. They didn't even need any of the points. They won 27-14. Mm-hmm. In the last 20 years, these Steelers are 17-4-3 against the spread as a home dog. I just think there's too much value in this play. I wrote down value in all caps. Value. I think this should be about a 5-6 point spread. We're getting on the north of a touchdown. I'm taking the Steelers. I'm taking Pickett, the new QB. He's not going to get his first win in this era, but he's going to play close enough to cover that spread. Another one of these games, Tampa, like last week against Atlanta, they just want to win the game and get out of town. Give me the Steelers and the 8 points, because that's my home dog.
I like that pick. And the thing about it, I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive. I think the Steelers are definitely going to have a more competitive outing than they did last week. That was pretty embarrassing, to be honest with you. And in the NFL, it's really all about how you respond. And you have great leadership there by Tomlin. So I expect those guys to come out and fight. Like you said, I don't think Pickett's going to get that W this week. But you said 8.5. That's a lot of points. So, yeah, that's a solid pick. My motto this week, I think my picks should be sponsored by Trojan because it's all about protection this week, me. You know, you know what it is with me. You're talking. Your co-host is a former offensive lineman, so I'm always digging in the trenches. It's about protecting the ball, and it's about protecting your quarterback. The ball, not plural.
Are we allowed to say that?
We're allowed to do anything we want.
Maybe Trojan should have sponsored you a couple years ago with all them kids you got running around.
Man, they should have. You can send me a box, Trojan. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I'm going to cut my shit off at the source. But we're not going to talk about that right now. My first game, though, that we're talking about, and I really kind of hated to pick this one, but it was kind of an intriguing game. Minnesota is coming down here to South Florida. You look at Miami's injury report, it's pretty lengthy. And that's really kind of my question mark with the Dolphins. I think if Tua was healthy, and I think maybe if Teddy Bridgewater was a positive go as of right now, I would feel a lot better about this pick. But Justin Jefferson has been playing pretty phenomenal. Again, question mark. Is Xavier Howard going to play? We don't know. I think that's a key piece for the Miami Dolphins. The run game has got to be really good for Minnesota. But for Miami. But will Teron play? Because he went out last week in the first quarter with a toe injury. So that's another question mark and another injury that we're kind of just trying to figure out on the Miami Dolphins side. And who's going to play quarterback? Is Teddy going to play? He went out last week, first play of the damn game. And then a guy named, what's his name? Skylar Thompson?
Kansas State.
Kansas State. He comes into the game. This guy is unproven. I don't know if this is a good game, if this is a good space for him. Minnesota is pretty healthy coming into this game. They have a solid run game and air attack. And my concern really for Miami is if the O-line isn't healthy, Minnesota is really good at getting after the passer. And I think that's really going to be the reason that they would really have a chance to really win this game. And the Vikings are first in the NFC North. I mean, how many times have they been in that position over the last few years, me? I believe they got to continue to ride that wave, keep that momentum up. I believe the spread is, 3.5 in favor of Minnesota. I like that this week for them. I hate going against my Dolphins, but I think they're a little banged up. And without your starting guy back there, this is a prime opportunity for Minnesota to capitalize on this game.
What time is this game? 1 o'clock? It is 1 o'clock. I will support your pick then. Nah, because you got Minnesota. Yeah, I mean, Kirk Cousins not playing on primetime. He can win a 1 o'clock game. He can't win a primetime game.
That's facts. That is facts. It's going to be a little warm down there for them boys, though, so that might be an advantage for Miami. But, we'll see.
But I'll tell you this. If you don't win that play, Skylar Thompson will make sure you remember his name. You're going to remember me.
Who you got game 2?
My second game, I'm sticking with what works, but I'm also rolling with my home dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going down to the dirty South. The Atlanta Falcons, again, are getting 5.5 at home. They're still getting no respect. Yeah, they're playing the San Francisco 49ers, who have looked great all year, right? They played in Carolina last week. They're staying on the East Coast to play this game. They're not going back and forth. They've done this 4 times in the Kyle Shanahan era. They're 4-0. This is the 5th time. They stay at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, which I've heard is a really nice place.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 5-0 against the spread Atlanta Falcons this year, still getting disrespected at home. You got a system that's 4-0 with Shanahan staying on the East Coast. Something's got to give here. And I just think Atlanta hasn't won a lot of these games, but they've been so competitive. You see what they did to the Rams. They were losing big there. They came back. They fought back and covered the spread. Last week against Tampa, we won't get into what roughing the passer is on this show and what it isn't. But if that wasn't roughing the passer, they would have had a chance to win that game. They came back from 21-0, made that competitive, and covered the spread. Also, you look at an overlook spot here. The 49ers play the Chiefs next week at home. So you got 2 away games. You stay on the East Coast for a while. You kind of just you're ready to go home. Flight right after the game. You've been gone for 2 weeks. I like Atlanta here, and I don't know if they'll win this game, but by Sunday I might get on that bandwagon and jump on and say Atlanta with the upset. But for the purpose of this show, for the purpose of your money, take the 5.5. I got the Falcons because that's my home dog.
Okay, that's fair. Listen, the thing about those East Coast to West Coast or West Coast to East Coast trips is really about the bonding time that you have with your guys, right? So the 49ers were in Carolina last week, correct? They go get a W. Then now they go over to West Virginia to stay there, and they're away from all the distractions. And now they can focus on football and more football, and then they'll have to go to Atlanta to take on another NFC South opponent. Listen, I like the 49ers in this one. I think it's a great opportunity for them to put good football together. If we can go out there and put another good, complete game out there. I like.
Is this your pick?
No, it's not my pick. But I'm telling you that I love those trips. You kidding me? When we used to go from East Coast to West Coast, we'd go stay out there for like 10 days in a nice place. Are you shitting me? It's like a mini training camp. It's like a mini training camp. Like you have no distractions. It's no. I mean, listen, it's gonna be bad for me to say this, but like, there's no wife, there's no girlfriend, there's no kid, there's nothing. I'm just saying though. You think coaches love that shit? That's why they stay.
I'm gonna get the couch ready for you.
Yeah, please do. I hope my wife. I hope she didn't hear that shit.
We love that you guys listen to us, Jess. We hope you're not listening to this one. Well, that's not your pick. Your thing was you tried to pick against me with San Francisco. I got Atlanta. Move on with your next pick.
Easy. I like the 49ers. All right, here we go. I'm going to a rematch, a week 2 rematch here down in the AFC South. The Jags at the Colts. Jags embarrassed these guys the first meeting out in Jacksonville, but now they're in Indy for this one. This is the battle for second place in the AFC South. But what sticks out to me is in this game is the run game, man. Jags are doing a solid job on defense, allowing less than 100 yards a week. But the Colts are just above 90, and you have Jonathan Taylor, who's still questionable with an ankle injury. And I believe, and hold on, I'm sorry, what was my motto? Protection. We need to be sponsored by Trojan. It's all about protection. Listen, they got to get that run game popping this week. If they want to have a chance, if the Colts want to have a chance to get this against the Jags, in my opinion, they got to get the run game going. 7 interceptions by the Colts. They're not protecting the ball. The Colts in 5 games this year, 21 sacks. Matt Ryan is getting sacked 10% of the time when he drops back to throw the ball.
That's
crazy. That is not good. They're not doing a good job of protecting that quarterback. To me, if the Jaguars want to sweep the Colts this year, the key is one, obviously stopping the run game, but they have got to force the Colts into a lot of passing situations, because then you do have opportunities to get after Matt Ryan. I think that's the way that they're going to go in here and win this game. The Colts are favored by 2
points
in this 2 points in this game. I like the Jags, man. I'm taking them again.
The Jaguars. They're up and coming. They didn't look great last week, but I love bounce back games like that. Throw a stat out there that helps your cause with the Jaguars. The Colts fit into that system we talked about a few weeks ago, where they play the Thursday night and then they have 10 days or more off at home. You kind of get caught up in that. The wife makes you load the dishwasher. The wife sends you do some chores. Or like you said, you might hop on a plane, take a quick flight. Colts have this 10-day layoff at home. It's not their normal schedule. So they could fall into that. I think they win 27% of the time. So under that stat, you're on the right side.
Thank you for agreeing with me. You and your all these different equations you have. I appreciate you sharing it with me, especially if it's going to be in favor of my pick.
It's just a stat from the stat man.
You are the stat
The
man.
locks this week, the locks this year are 8-2. So if you watch this show for about 5 minutes, if you watch it for about 15 minutes, you cut it off, you're missing all the money to be made. We're 8-2 in locks this year. You got to follow the locks. So we're going to lock it up for you right now. This isn't my lock, but a play that just missed my board before I get into my lock. All my Ravens fans out there, don't get mad at me for saying this, but be careful this week because my home dogs, the Giants, almost made it as my home dog. 5.5 is a spread. It's a funny spread. We played an emotional game last Sunday night. They have to travel to New York, and don't forget, Wink Martindale didn't choose to leave. We forced him out the door. He knows the Ravens better than they know himself, and I think that the Ravens are going to be in for a tough battle.
If you really loved the Ravens, you would have took them as your lock.
I know, but I didn't. But just be careful. My Ravens fans, be careful. Lock of the week, my home dogs. So this is the biggest game on the schedule this week. Arguably the biggest game on the schedule this year.
No.
They're projecting it to be the most watched game of the year besides the Super Bowl. It will be the most bet on game of the regular season. They have said this in Vegas. It's the Bills and the Chiefs. The Chiefs are at home getting points. My home dog. Mahomes is 7-0-1 against the spread as an underdog. 7-0-1. He's never lost as an underdog ever. This is the first time in 41 starts for Mahomes that he's ever been an underdog in Arrowhead at home. He's never been an underdog at home. He's never been my home dog. So who am I going with here? Get the hell out of here. I'm not taking the Chiefs. I can't do it. They're getting points for a reason. I know I said my home dog, but I threw y'all a little bone there. I'm taking the Bills. Lay the points. Bills are on a mission since that 42-36 overtime loss in the playoffs last year. Josh Allen is on a mission this year. If you've watched him play, he's going against the Chiefs defense, which is 17th overall, 24th against the pass. He's going to pick them apart, and if they try to man up, he's going to run down the field and get all the rushing yards. Bills have the second best overall defense. I think they're going to compete. Kelsey's not going to have no more 4 touchdowns like Al Bundy did. Give me the Bills. They're on a mission. Sorry, this one's not a home dog. Try to throw you for a loop there. I'm taking the Bills. Lay the 3 points.
Okay. You went against your motto. But if that's the kind of game we're going to play here, you went against your motto. I mean, who said this was the biggest game? Who said this was the biggest game? Do you know Joe Burrow is going back to the Superdome this week? Do you know that? Do you know Eli Apple is going back to the Superdome this week? That's the biggest game. You understand me? That's
Joe Burrow's from Ohio. Joe Burrow's from Ohio.
It doesn't matter. If you talk to anybody in Louisiana, it's their golden child, son.
He was there for 9 months.
Well, he killed it in 9 months. You can have a baby in 9 months. What are you talking about? Joe Burrow, it's LSU's baby. What are we talking about?
Not if you use Trojan, sponsored by.
Yeah, this segment is sponsored by Trojan.
So let me guess, your lock is going to be in the Superdome. Give it to us.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this one. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, I think I gave what was it? The CVS receipt analogy a couple weeks ago about somebody's injury report. The Saints, 4 of their 5 receivers, of their top wide receivers, are on the injury report. Did not practice on Wednesday. I'm a little worried about that. But this is a very intriguing matchup for me because one, it's the Who Days out of Cincinnati, the Bengals, versus the Who Dats in the Saints with the Saints. So no, you didn't. But that's always a big discussion. It's always a big argument. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be hearing that chant going back and forth if you do tune into the game. But like I said, this is Louisiana's favorite team versus LSU's former golden child. It's Eli Apple versus everybody, pretty much. As soon as he steps off the plane, everybody's going to hate this guy. So I'm excited. When you're talking about playing an NFL game, it's about emotion. It's about all of that. You got trash talk. So it's going to be exciting for that. But again, it's about protecting the ball. protecting your quarterback. And the Saints are really kind of they've worried me a little bit, especially in this first 4 games. They played 5, but last week they were a little bit better. But these guys have given up 14 sacks so far this year. I've been a part of this team when we've given up 20 or 21 on the year. Now, we did have Drew Brees back there. He definitely will throw his way out of a whole bunch of sacks. But 14 sacks so far is not good. And on the other side, you have 18 sacks against the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow. So protection is going to have to step up on both sides of the ball. Whoever doesn't protect will probably lose this game. Like that's how I feel about it. But another thing that the Saints are not doing, they're not protecting the ball very well. 13 total turnovers this year. They put the ball on the ground 12 times, Meehan. 12 fumbles so far. They got to pick that up. But they've lost 7 of them, 6 interceptions. But listen, it's about protecting the ball. It's about protecting the quarterback. And another really great story for me in this game, 2 guys that I've had the opportunity to play with in 2018, the Bengals leader in sacks, protecting the quarterback. The Bengals leader in sacks, Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals leader in INT. We're talking about protecting the ball, Von Bell. 2 New Orleans Saints standouts that are former teammates in New Orleans. But now they're playing together with the Bengals. So that's another great storyline. So wouldn't they like to come back to the Superdome and spoil this game for all the Louisianimals that's going to be in the building? You know what I'm saying? So it's a great story, but I got to take the Saints in this one. They got to find a way to get this W this week. But it's exciting.
Scared me for a second.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This shit right here, this one worries me a little bit. Because I don't know how this injury shit is gonna play out with the New Orleans Saints, but I'm extremely excited to tune into this game because it's a lot of history between these 2 teams. Well, more like there's history between the players of these 2 teams. So I am going Saints.
Saints lock it up. So you went against your Dolphins, but you didn't go against your Saints. Should be a good game. The spread tells you that it looks like they're trying to bait you to take Cincy.
Yeah.
It's 2, 1.5 across the board. I like the Saints here as well. And I usually don't agree with you on that, but who dat? Not who they. Who dat?
Okay, I hear you. No, I'm excited. I'm excited for this one, big dog. Seriously.
Well, some people will watch it, but it won't be the most watched game. I'm sorry to break your heart.
Well, in the Gulf Coast region, it will be. So let's get it cracking.
There you guys have it. Week 6 NFL picks. Jump on board. Hope you guys are enjoying everything. Hope you guys are making some money along the way, or just betting a friend, winning a free meal or something.
Man, make sure and listen. If you're listening and you appreciate the picks and you appreciate the stats and my little insight that I can give, comment, like, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell that friend to tell another friend. Because listen, we appreciate you all tuning in. We enjoy doing this. I've enjoyed, I always enjoy this week in and week out with my host. But listen, we're trying to grow this thing. We're trying to continue to get better, but we're also trying to put a little money in your pocket. You feel me?
Feel me. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
All right, peace.